December 24th, 1971. It was Christmas Eve. 17-year-old Juliane Koepcke sat beside her mother on LANSA Flight 508, flying over the dense green roof of the Amazon rainforest. The air smelled of anticipation. They were headed from Lima to Pucallpa, a short domestic flight across Peru. Juliane, born to German scientists working in Peru, had just graduated from school. She was looking forward to spending the holidays at her parents' biological research station in the jungle. She had always loved nature. The jungle didn't scare her, it fascinated her. But within minutes, fascination would turn into horror. Suddenly, turbulence struck. The flight attendants looked nervous. Juliane glanced out the window and saw thick black clouds swallowing the sky. The aircraft shuddered. Lightning lit up the cabin. The plane was flying straight into a massive thunderstorm. Passengers screamed. Overhead compartments burst open. Then came the moment that would change everything. A bolt of lightning hit the aircraft. A deafening crack. A blinding flash. Then chaos. The plane broke apart in midair. Juliane was suddenly falling, still strapped to her seat, hurtling down from 10,000 feet into the endless green sea of the Amazon. She didn't scream. She didn't even feel fear. Just wind, roaring past her ears, and trees, rushing up at her. Then darkness. Juliane woke up the next day, on the rainforest floor. She had survived the fall. Miraculously, her seat must have acted like a parachute, slowing her descent. But the miracle came with a cost. She was injured, a broken collarbone, a swollen eye, deep gashes. She had lost her glasses. One shoe gone, her dress torn, and no sign of her mother or any other passenger. She was completely alone. The Amazon rainforest is no ordinary place. It is alive, breathing, buzzing, insects the size of fingers, snakes slithering unseen, poisonous frogs, crocodiles, big cats. Juliane knew these dangers. She had grown up in the jungle with her scientist parents. That knowledge would now save her life. She knew she had to find water, not just a drink, but because water leads to people. So she staggered toward the sound of running water. It took hours, but eventually she found a tiny stream and started walking. Juliane's injuries ached. Her collarbone throbbed. Her wounds oozed. She had no food. The jungle sun was unforgiving. Mosquitoes bit her relentlessly. She drank muddy water, slept on the ground. Each night, the sounds of howling monkeys, hissing snakes, and crackling twigs haunted her. Each morning, she kept walking. By day 4, hunger blurred her vision. She began to hallucinate, thinking she saw cabins or her mother. But still, she pressed on. By day 7, her wounds had become infected, especially one deep cut on her arm. It was crawling with maggots. Most people would scream. Juliane remembered something she had seen in her parents' research. She found kerosene in a crashed piece of the plane wreckage and poured it into the wound. It burned. The maggots fled. It was agonizing, but it saved her from deadly infection. On the 10th day, she saw something. A canoe half submerged on the riverbank, and nearby a small hut. She had reached a remote fisherman's shelter. No one was there, but she waited. Hours passed. Then voices. 3 Peruvian men appeared, shocked to see her. A sunburned, wounded teenage girl emerging from the jungle. Juliane spoke in Spanish. "I'm a girl who was in the LANSA crash." They looked at her in disbelief, but quickly they took her in. The men tended to her wounds, gave her food and shelter. The next morning, they put her in a canoe. They paddled for 7 hours through the winding Amazon River, until they reached a hospital outpost. Doctors were stunned. Authorities contacted her father, who was already searching for her. He arrived and broke into tears seeing her alive. Juliane had survived 11 days alone in the jungle. Out of 92 passengers, she was the only survivor. Juliane eventually returned to Germany. She healed and chose to follow in her parents' footsteps, becoming a zoologist and jungle researcher. Years later, she returned to the crash site, not to relive the trauma, but to understand it, to honor her mother, and to forgive the jungle. She later wrote a book, When I Fell from the Sky. Juliane Koepcke's story isn't just about survival. It's about resilience, about keeping calm in the face of death, about using knowledge, courage, and instinct when all odds are against you. She didn't wait for rescue. She rescued herself. When the world literally fell apart around her, she stood up and walked out of the jungle, alive. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And don't forget to subscribe to Cocoon Tales, where real stories grow wings.